What's up guys, Kylar here, back with another video. We have Bory and her beautiful fashion gray G80 behind us, and we have a very special mod today, as we mentioned in the last video. It is the M Performance Wing OEM, of course.
OEM, yes.
Yep.
Thanks to getbmwparts.com, I source all of my OEM parts from there. I'm so excited yet a little bit nervous for this mod because it does require drilling for the full, proper German method of installing this.
That's right, yeah. I mean, a lot of people do just use a glue or like the beta link that BMW supplies. But, you know, we figured we might as well go and do it the OEM way, drill it in there, make sure it's very good to go, because this is a permanent mod. Without further ado, we're gonna show you step by step how to install this wing. Let's get into it.
First things first, we have to take a close look over here. Look at this baby little spoiler. That's not hard. We need this car to go hard, so we need to first remove this. And to help us with this mod and the entire mod overall today is Ben. Built by Ben, say hello.
Here I am, guys. Some of you guys already know me. You guys have seen me on Kylar's channel before. We've done reviews together. He's driven my car, I've driven his car. I've helped him install things before. So when Kylar called me and he was like, hey buddy, I need your help, obviously I was here to answer the call. So here I am today. And like Bory already said, we're essentially going to be removing the OEM carbon fiber spoiler that came on her vehicle for the brand new OEM M Performance spoiler. And essentially, to remove this, depending on your car's manufacturer date, it's either going to be held down by 3M and or beta link. But if you use a heat gun, a little bit of light heat and some fishing line, it should come off pretty easy. Once it's off, you guys will see we're going to be using a rubber wheel. Again, very light pressure. We don't want to burn the paint because there won't be a spoiler going over top of what we're removing. Let's go ahead and let's hop into removing this.
Place painter's tape around the original spoiler. We used a heat gun and 20-pound test fishing line to remove it. You'll need some gloves too. Basically, shimmy the fishing line back and forth while pulling upwards to avoid scratching the paint. We got the baby wing removed, and luckily it's just 3M, not beta link. So should be an easier time removing that. After that grueling process of removing all that 3M, thank you, Ben.
Thank you, trooper.
Yeah. You
awesome.
definitely need a rubber wheel and some of this Eulex from Coach Kemi. This came in handy. But yep, now it's time to get to drilling.
But before we start drilling, the next steps you guys are going to want to take after you remove your old wing is going to be removing the inner portion of the trunk lid. Here is this body cover, this body cover. You're going to want to remove that. You can use any sort of pick tool and or pry tool in order to remove these little black tabs that go all the way around. And once those tabs are off, you're also going to remove the tabs over here for the covers, for the actual railing portion of the trunk lid. And once these are exposed, you'll be able to see the wiring and so on and so forth. But everything's fairly easy. There's a couple of tabs right back here. If Kylar can get that shot right there, that's what it looks like. So you're just gonna pry that tab down on both sides, and then these will open up. And then once you remove this little push pin tab here, you'll be able to slide that down. And then once everything else up here is taken off, you'll be able to remove that much easier. So that's what we're gonna do right now. And then once that's done, we'll fill you guys in after.
All right, so we have the template laid on, and basically we had to measure from left to right to figure out what the center line would be, and that's at about 24.5 inches, and we nailed it right on the money.
First things first, after you center punch these holes, you have to then take a 3mm drill bit, or if you're in America, the closest thing to that would be a 1/8 of an inch drill bit, just to get your first little starter hole going. And then you're going to then expand that with a 6mm drill bit, which is, what is it? Technically the closest we got it to?
Put it on screen, I forget.
Yeah.
While the trunk looks like one piece of metal, it's actually made up of an exterior and interior layer. The 4 main holes that get drilled from the outside in, start them off as 3mm pilot holes, then you expand them to 6mm, and eventually you'll expand them even further, but we'll do that in a later step. So when the time comes to drill the 30mm cutouts, that is done on the interior layer of the trunk.
Well guys, we started filming and doing this mod at 6:36 p.m. It's 11:24 p.m. and all we've done is just drill the baby holes. We even haven't gotten to the 30mm ones. It took me and Ben and Kylar collectively reading these instructions straight from BMW on how to position these little templates. I think part of the reason why this took us so long to figure out is that this is the only video that will show you this proper install on an actual G80 M3. I've seen some retrofitting on cars, I've seen a lot of M4s doing this, but none, and I mean none, exist with, first of all, an M Performance OEM wing and on a G80 M3. So let's get to it, boys.
Following the templates, first make a 3mm pilot hole and then expand to 7.5mm. BMW does recommend use a depth stop with your drill to prevent hitting the second layer.
Alright guys, so at this point in the installation of the OEM M Performance wing, now we are drilling out the 30mm hole needed in order to install the brackets, which is this bad boy right here. So one tip that I would give to you guys when doing this, the sheet metal that is here is pretty thin. However, don't take that for granted. Make sure you're taking your time. I would highly recommend pulsing whatever drill that you are using, whether it be air, whether it be battery powered. Slowly pulse it, slowly check, and whatever cracks and crevices that you can while you are pulsing it. I don't know how well you guys may be able to see this, but this sheet metal on this side is already starting to give away. You can kind of see daylight coming through that area right there. So it's kind of like those old-fashioned can openers that you have to put on the can and then slowly turn it around to get it off. That's essentially what you're doing here, because again, this is 2 pieces of sheet metal put together, and you're only trying to take off this portion right here, so you don't want to go crazy and end up taking off both. With all that being said, we're going to continue to slowly drill this section out with a 30mm drill that we have until this piece comes out, and then we'll update you guys from there.
Use a 30mm keyhole saw drill bit to remove the outer layer of the sheet metal. Once it's removed, scrape away the sound deadening foam so the bracket can sit properly, and of course, all tools are linked in the description below. Before removing the bracket template, mark where you need to cut, then with a Dremel or a grinding tool, shave down the sliver of metal that you marked and use a vacuum to clean up the debris. Next, enlarge the 4 external holes from 6mm to 12mm and ensure your drill remains perpendicular to the trunk. We left out this part, but we're going to fill you in. We mounted these brackets just like so, just put them through the holes, the 12mm holes that we enlarged, and then we bolted the wing onto the car just so that these brackets would kind of suck in to the trunk right here, and that way we could mark all these holes that we need to drill through, pre-drill, and yeah, we're doing that right now.
Literally, the Ryobi died on me right after I made this hole, and I couldn't take the drill bit out, so we're waiting for the battery to charge so that we can remove the drill bit and continue drilling. So far, to this point, it's been kind of hectic, but not too much. If you have all the right tools and you have the instruction pamphlet, you can do it. And if you don't believe us, we're doing it, and we have no idea what we're doing, but we're just following the instructions. So
Right.
At that point, once I finish drilling out the rest of these holes, we'll put in these little silver rivets here. Once these silver rivets are in, that's essentially it. We're just gonna use these screws with the washers that are also came in the packaging to officially mount the brackets to the trunk, and then we will mount the wing to the brackets and put everything back together, and you guys will see it after that.
Earlier, we temporarily mounted the bracket to mark the 6 additional holes where the rivets will go. And here we are drilling those with a 3mm drill bit and then enlarging them to 8mm. Of course, you can use a depth stop to prevent penetrating the external skin.
See how it fought me a little bit there? Because it's pretty much about to go through. See how it's pulling itself in? See, now I'm in.
Now you back out.
Yep. That's how small the margin is of once you break through. Because if you're not paying attention, just like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, literally. You gotta pay attention. If you're not paying attention, you're gonna put some dents in your trunk.
As we were drilling the 8mm hole here, we ended up swapping our drill for a Dremel tool because this area requires precision and we wanted to make sure that the bracket fits perfectly. Before you secure the bracket, don't forget to put the washers on the adjustment sleeves. Make sure to screw the adjustment sleeves all the way down prior to fitting the bracket. That way the bracket will sit flush. And when you tighten the screws, BMW recommends a torque spec of 6 Nm.
So at this point, we have fully secured the brackets on the trunk. We've also adjusted the adjustment sleeves and made sure they're flushed with the trunk. So now all that's left is to put the wing on our brackets. Now, ideally, per the instructions, you should also use some Beta-Link as an adhesive layer between your wing and your trunk. However, I actually decided not to use Beta-Link or any other kind of semi-permanent adhesive like that because honestly, I'm probably gonna end up temporarily taking the wing off in the future should I wanna polish the trunk, PPF the trunk, or any other kind of detailing things like that. And I would not wanna remove this thing. I mean, this is like cement. Be careful with this if you have it in your garage. But with that, instead, we're gonna just use a strip of 3M tape to give us that buffer, give us that adhesion. And without further ado, let's get the wing on.
Here we placed 3M tape and ensured to cut out the screw holes as well as trim any 3M tape spilling outside of the wing so it doesn't show.
By the way, I want to point out that even the OEM German instructions, translate to English of course, say this installation step must be carried out by 3 people. We're that accurate. Starting to hug.
All right, back up to the top. Show me when it looks flush.
One more on the bottom.
Bottom.
Yeah, take a look.
Magic, baby.
Wow. 2 a.m. somewhere. It's in this garage.
He's not lying.
Oh my god. Final piece of the puzzle.
Well guys, as you can tell by our change of clothes, this is day number 2 of the most difficult mod on a G80 and probably a BMW. I mean, obviously we had been here, professional BMW tech helping us with the entire install, and it still took many laborious hours. So, gentlemen, any final words?
Yeah, probably about a 12-hour job in total. This is not something you really want to tackle by yourself in your garage. Maybe you do. Maybe you want to take on the challenge, but this was probably the most nerve-wracking, most difficult modification to a vehicle that I've ever done personally, or that I've helped with. You know, this is majority built by Ben, so he can speak on that.
Yeah, no, just to pretty much go over what Bory and Kylar have already said. This mod was very difficult. It took a lot of patience. It It took a lot of caress and a lot of charisma, if you can even use that. But all in all, I mean, the end product was essentially what Bory wanted. And me personally, I don't think that we could have did it in a better environment. Like Kylar already said, I don't think this would be ideal to do in your garage, but if you want to do that, go ahead. I'm sure some of you will. That's why we're making this video for you, so that you guys can understand and know and have the knowledge of how to put this in performance wing on your M3 and not the retrofit way that you may see on YouTube.
The proper way.
The proper way. So with all that being said, guys, I'm sure Bory wants to go ahead and close her trunk so we can show you the finished product. And we hope that you guys have enjoyed this video as much as we've enjoyed making it for you. And with all that being said, Bory, will you please do the honors?
I will, but first we have to thank GetBMWParts.com. Thank you so much for supplying us with this OEM and performance carbon fiber spoiler. I source all my OEM parts from them, so thank you so much, guys. Without this mod would not have been possible. And I'll close this out with showing you our bits of shrapnel, the fashion grade shrapnel. So, gentlemen, there's a little keepsake of this mod.
We're gonna make a little necklace.
Yeah, we could. All right, let's show the folks.